As a consequence of the previous episode, Desert Man is entering into the severe withdrawal stage of Darkchip use, his powers going out of control, and him trying to raid a NetSaver facility that has taken possession of all the ones Nitto was previously responsible for confiscating, mass loading them into himself to try and patch the damage the chips are actually doing to his data. Enzon being present in the facility to pull the manual override and sending in blues. Enzon deciding to capture him as those purple patches all over his body just cannot be healthy, and relatedly can tell them more about how long-term exposure to dark chips can affect all types of navies. Desert Man is subsequently quarantined in Scilab, Shademan not happy that one of his minions got caught like this, and sending Flashman in to get Desert Man out, or if he needs to, delete him before he can talk. Either or. Yuichiro goes over Desert Man's data, finding it in an advanced state of decomposition, on the verge of complete collapse without continuing infusion of Darkchip data. Enzon has seen this once before, when he was abroad, the Darkloids just being only slightly more resistant to it than a normal Navi is, and they have no idea it's happening to them, as the consequences of their addiction are better hidden from sight, because they were Navis that weren't created by human hands, but the natural convergence of data in cyberspace into Navi-like forms, using recovered data of deleted Navis. And to be fair, even in the anime timeline, that is something that is shown to happen. The biggest case being Pharaoh Man's data remnants being turned into the Gospel Bug Beast and Forte.exe respectively. But because their data wasn't crafted by humans, well, it explains a lot about their motivations, views, and why they wouldn't have the signs of corruption, as there's no visible way for them to check for it until the visual data they use for their bodies to be seen start to become corrupted in and of itself. This is where Flashman sends in viruses to attack, Rockman and Blues going on the defense. It being revealed that Desert Man in the base net for Scilab being a decoy Enzon and Blues set up, just in case the Darkloids came for their captured comrade, which puts Shademan in a bit of a bind, as their benefactor seems oddly active in wanting to resolve this just as much as him, making Shademan suspect something else might be up with the man, who is increasingly less in shadow. Thus, the Darkloids are stuck with Plan C, carjacking. Yuriko and Needleman taking over Kifune and Rin's private vehicle and kidnapping them, so Scilab will have no choice but to release Desert Man from their custody in exchange for their safety, as otherwise they'll be smashed in a car crusher. Yeah, that's actually a thing. Emergency window breakers are designed to work on tempered glass, not bulletproof glass that are made from clear polycarbonate materials on the inside and glass on the outside. Thus, a glass breaker actually cannot smash the plastic inner shell of bulletproof glass at all. Incidentally, this is a Kenichi Araki episode, showing what smart writing actually looks like once again. So yeah, they're forced to give in. Meijin giving Neto a ride to the location on his most famous of bikes, while Enzon is also redirected there. But despite giving up Desert Man, well, the Darkloids go back on their end of the bargain when Flashman sees firsthand the shape Desert Man is in. Almost his entire body, now the color of poison. Rockman ends up needing to fight Needleman to finally free the Elder Agents, utilizing Search Soul to pierce through the needles and get him to release the hostages at the last possible second. But as expected, they're not out of the woods yet, as a dimensional area goes up around them. Neto seeing if Rockman and Search Soul could use Searchman's warp sniping technique, only for it to be shown that the data stolen previously has now proof the dimensional converters against such attacks entirely. Once again, proving my point about how Raika's application of very specific tactics are not effective in the long term against an enemy that isn't stupid, and his underestimation of them would be more likely to get him and others killed instead of fighting them as they have been. Save someone in one scenario and damn them for all the others. Well, it's that, or it is Kenichi Araki chiding through story points the writers under him for writing a deliberate plot hole just to make Raika look better, and only ending up depicting him as an asshole as they did. But yeah, since it doesn't work, it allows Flashman in to knock them for a loop, and since Neto didn't immediately go for cross-fusion the second the field went up, his PT ends up knocked away from him, falling at Flashman's feet. Man, Enzan really is good at using those hunks of plastic as accurate projectiles. Oh, did I forget to mention that Enzan actually gets a transformation sequence in this series? While Flashman manages to retreat, well, that isn't good news for him or the Darkloids. The damage the attack did, in tandem with the Darkchip he used to fight Desert Man, has also pushed him past the corruption limit, him returning to Shade Man's palace, only for the ruler of the Darkloids to find his body is stained with the data corruption of the Dark Soul infection. Flashman's light, consumed by shadow. It's simple, dude. You made a very, very bad deal. The wrap-up. We have Kidnapping Caper, for the type of plot this is. We have Bloody Quartet, for Enzan and Blues winning a battle with the use of 4 sword chips simultaneously. A category whose name is based on an actual attack technique called Bloody Quartet, which the pair use in the manga. This is a shorter review than we've had for a while on these, and for good reason. There is not a single problem with anything in this episode. No problematic character issue, nothing I have to highlight about why things can get wonky, Kenichiraki knew exactly what he was doing to course correct the existing paradigms, and unlike half the staff does not feel the need to denigrate a character to pull off a competent plot, but logically get them to think through problems as the crisis emerges without them needing to flail around as if their head were cut off. As I keep saying, every show can and is improved if the cast part of them isn't treated as if they were brain dead. It's a pity that few writers ever learned that lesson.